Hey guys, Ben BigStuff here. Another update video for our version 2.5 firmware. Today we're going to be talking about the shift light and how the new shift light configuration settings are going to work with the update going forward. So the shift light can be used for really anything. The base feature is called the shift light, but we have guys that use it to control transmissions, control their shifter. It's really just an RPM activation point, if you would, and it'll work fine if you, for however you want to use it in that case. Okay. So to navigate to the shift light settings, we're going to go to System. We're going to go to Operating Configuration, and you're going to see here now that we have two different ways to run the shift light. Okay. If we're in the normal mode, we're going to use the gear calculation. The gear calculation is based on the engine going up and coming back down, and the ECU will calculate which gear it's in based on those changes. Okay. If you want to actually update how the how the gear is actually calculated, all you have to do is go to the System section, FSL Configuration. You're going to go down to Gear RPM. Now you're going to want to put it back to BCP when you're done, or stage, wherever it is you're actually doing this. Okay. We just want to go to the Gear RPM to adjust this value. So you're going to enter in however many gears you have, okay, 2-speed, 3-speed, 4-speed, whatever you've got. And then you want to make sure that this RPM drop in 50 milliseconds is around 250 or so. Basically what it's doing is every 50 milliseconds we're looking at that engine RPM, and if it goes up and it starts to fall, we then say that we're changing gears, okay? When you're done here, please remember to go back to BCP. If you leave this way, then you're going to have 3 fuel tables, 3 AFR tables, 3 timing tables. You're going to be left in a gear-based RPM mode. That's what the FSL configuration is. Fuel, spark, lambda configuration based on your criteria. So in this case, I'm back to BCP, and I can just choose my individual maps for whatever it is I want to do. I've now adjusted my gear RPM settings, and I'm done. Okay, so now what I want to do is come over here in my shift lights. What's going to happen here is the first gear RPM, the 1-2 shift, is going to be for 2500 RPM. It's going to output for 0.6 of a second, okay, based on that gear change. As soon as I go and I hit the second RPM target, second gear change, right, which is from the 2-3, then it's going to go 2800, and we're going to pulse at 0.6 of a second, and so on. Okay, so you can enter in the number of gears right here that you have. If you have a 3-speed, you can update here. Okay, so you're going to only have obviously 2 RPMs you're going to output at. If you have a 3-speed, you're going to have the 1-2 and the 2-3. Okay, and that's how it works in the gear mode normal application. Now, in the race mode, this works differently. Okay, if I'm tying this to a race car or something that's going drag race based, we're going to want to configure this differently. So in the delay after trans brake release, that's when the SR2 timer starts. You can plug in an actual delay here, 1 second, half second, however it is you want it to be. But I can target now an RPM. So let's just say I have an RPM of 8,000 RPM. Okay. And what's going to happen here is I can calculate a drop that it has to satisfy, or I can say I don't want to have any drop at all. And then what will happen is it's just going to output for that 0.6 of a second. And this is going to pulse out for that 0.6 and then go on to the next time it sees the next gear. Okay. So let's just say I've got my first gear at 8,000. It's going to pulse for 0.6. Let's just say I drop back down to 7,800 or 7,700 or so. It's going to output for that 0.6 of a second. Then we're going to wait for the second gear, okay, which is going to be this next RPM. Now, it's not really gears. It's really just looking at the engine RPM, which is not going to be tied to the gear calculation. This is just simply just looking at when it sees these RPMs. It doesn't care about the gear, what gear you're in. It just knows, hey, I saw 8,000. There's no RPM drop that's programmed, or I can have a 300 RPM drop if I want. I'm going to output for 0.6 of a second. It's going to flash, okay? And then I'm going to go back to the next gear it looks for. So it goes, flashes, 0.6 of a second, it releases. Then it's going to look for my next gear here. Okay, so the next gear is going to basically be this RPM. Again, not necessarily gear, it's going to look for the next RPM. So it finishes up this sequence here. Okay, I'm done. Now I'm looking for this next engine RPM. It sees that. boom, pulses out for 0.6 of a second, and you're done. And you can put a hysteresis there if you like. But the race mode, we don't care about the gear. We just simply say, okay, I'm seeing these RPMs, I'm doing something. So as soon as it sees 8,000, I'm pulsing for 0.6 of a second. You can have no drop in there, or if you'd like a drop before it resets, you can. But 0 means there is absolutely no drop that it needs in order to calculate to go the next time it sees the engine RPM. Okay. So in the race mode, it just simply will output that based on that time anytime it sees it. Now, if you are short shifting the car, let's just say you wanted to shift at 6,000 RPM here, okay? A lot of times what will happen is you'll want to set this for 0, because if you're short shifting, you're just going to keep driving straight on up. You don't want to have any RPM drop that you're looking for, okay? It's going to go to 6,000. It's going to pull 0.6 of a second. Now it's just waiting for the next one. So the next RPM it's going to see is 8,500. It sees 8,500, boom. It's going to pulse about 0.6 of a second, hold it, and then just release. So again, shift light, transmission control, however you want to do it, but this is the new logic. You just want to make sure that in the normal mode for street based, we are using the gear calculation. In the race mode, we're not. We're just simply looking at these engine RPMs. Every time I see these engine RPMs, that's when I'm actually going to pulse. I'm actually going to do something. So tie it to a shift light, tie it to your auto shifter. It's totally up to you. Any questions, please visit our website at BigStuffTPM.com. Send us an email, support@BigStuffTPM.com. And definitely check out our socials, Facebook, Instagram, for our latest updates. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to helping you out in the next video.